I took 2 copies of set 41727, the LEGO Friends Dog Rescue Center, and combined them together into being a 32 by 32 modular building ready to be placed into our LEGO city. Let's go ahead and talk about this MOC. What's up, everyone? I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Today's my birthday, July 3rd, so thought I would come down here and spend my birthday doing what I love, which is sharing yet another MOC with all of you guys out there. So let's go ahead and talk about how I created this brand new Re-MOC of the Dog Rescue Center. When you get a LEGO City set or a LEGO Friends set or any LEGO set really that is not a modular building, what they're going to give you usually is about half the building. Usually it's the front half, the facade, and the back half is open to allow you to play. Getting the front half is fine for most people, but if you're an adult fan of LEGO or you're into city building, you know, a lot of people prefer to have a back on the building because it makes it just a little bit more realistic. Now, this set was a little bit unique in the way that it's designed because it doesn't actually give you the front half of the building. What it actually gives you is the side half of the purple building and the front half of the yellow section. Basically, when I was looking at this, I just imagined making a mirror image of that purple half and then making a mirror image of the yellow half, keeping the general layout, but then putting those all together. And that is basically exactly what I did. I'm really happy with the way that this looks. I think it turned out pretty well. Probably 80% of this build is from the original pieces, and then there's just a few extra ones that I've added to really make things fully complete. So we're gonna go through a tour of the build, and then I'm gonna tell you the specific areas in which I had to make certain modifications to make it work for our purposes. So let's go ahead and get into it. So looking at the front of this building, it's a very playful looking, fun dog rescue center. You've got a yard fenced off in the front, which allows people to have a meet and greet with all their dogs. One thing that I like to think about when creating MOCs like this for my city is what kind of minifigs, what kind of accessories, what kind of animals do I have that I can supplement. So this allows me to have all my dog pieces in basically the same area. So you'll see all sorts of them. We have Santa's Little Helper. We have dogs from all sorts of sets. We've got Cruella de Vil there with her Dalmatian. And I've maintained a lot of the decorations from the original build. You'll see there's the adoption sign. The one thing I'm not super happy about is how many of these little bone decorations that I have on there. If I was going to spend some more time on this, what I would do is make one giant bone decoration for the front of the build. For the purposes of this video, I wanted to show you what you could do with pretty much just using the original pieces from the set. So you have 2 sets of double doors which lead you into the interior of the first floor. Within the lobby waiting area, I have kept it pretty consistent with the original design. I doubled up on the counter space, added some of the extra additional adoption signage and some of the stuff that they would have on the walls. If you guys have been to a pet rescue center, this is honestly what it usually looks like. They always have tons of flyers and stuff on the walls. You know, doubled up the computer, so there's 2 monitors. You got the guy at the desk, and we also got a little kid waiting with his dog to be checked up on. So in the upstairs, we've got 2 vets. We've got Dr. Tom. Thank you, Tom, for your wonderful minifig. And then we've got another nurse. They're taking some weight of some dogs, maybe gonna administer them some medication, you know. And it is fully modular, so you can just remove the roof, remove the side panels to the roof to see inside. And then the last section that required the most work is the hallway, which leads down into where all of the dog pens are. So I created a door in the wall of the original space and added a full roof to this section. You'll see that my tile work is a little bit wonky, and the way I've done this is a little bit unconventional, but it actually works pretty well here. So you can see we've got 6 pins for dogs, we've got 3 pins for smaller dogs on the interior, and then we've got 3 pins for larger dogs, which allows them to go outside. One thing that I will change in the future is I would like to get some tiling down on the floor here, so it's not just a green a granule floor, and that is the dog from the Hidden Side series. So he's like a ghost dog. If you guys have any sets, you may have a copy of him as well. So this section here, this yellow section, was done with pretty much all original pieces. You could see in the original build, they doubled up the walls so that there's 2 walls sitting right next to each other, and that actually gives you plenty of extra pieces. And if you look at the dimensions here, I've got 4 studs wide on 2 of the pins and 3 studs wide on the 3rd one. You could have moved this wall 1 more stud over to have 3 equal pins, but I wanted to leave just 1 row of studs there on the edge. I think it creates a little bit more dimension in the build. And then around the back, what I've done is utilize the original baths for the dogs. So I wanted to make 1 giant pool, but there wasn't quite room for that on this base plate, so I've just placed the 2 baths here. The workers can go back there, wash the dogs off, and make them ready for their adoption. So now I'm going to talk about just a few of the modifications that I had to make while building this. Literally for the purple building, all I did is build it completely in mirror image. You can either do that with the instructions, or you can do it just by eyeballing it and just placing the piece on the opposite side where it should go. For the roof, that also worked, but I did have to do a little bit of work to create some interlocking pieces in the middle that kind of adds a little bit more stability to the build, because it was kind of splitting in the middle. So I added a plate on the floor, interlocked some of the bricks, which makes it look a little bit odd on the inside, but you could just pretend those are shelves or something. And then I used a cool technique on the roof that I've seen a few times before. I first learned of it in this Fun Hole Lakeside Lodge set that I reviewed. But when you have 2 angular walls pressing up against each other like this, it creates just a small little gap at the top. So I basically just took some of these dark azure plates that I had lying around, took some tiles, and used these jumpers to create just a little piece to fill in the gap here. And I think that looks super nice. I am really happy with how that turned out. The other modifications that I had to make is I added some dark azure pieces to the roof of the dog pin section. You can see it's a little bit unconventional the way I did this, but it was just the pieces that I had laying around. So I added this door piece. Color wise, I would like it to match better with the build, but that's the only door that I had laying around. So that was pretty much it for this build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any questions. I featured my cat Squid multiple times on this channel, so you guys may be familiar with her already, but you may not know that we actually have 3 rescue dogs, one of which, my dog Truman, actually appeared even before I did on this channel. If you go back to my very first video, my first city update, you will actually see Truman before you ever see me. So we have 3 rescue dogs. We love them very much. We want to support pet rescues and adoption centers however possible. So this is just a small way to reflect that in the Lego City. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build. Let me know down below if you have any questions. Let me know if you want me to release instructions for this. I probably won't. I wasn't really planning to, but if enough of you guys comment saying you want instructions, then maybe I will. With that being said, guys, it is my birthday, so please give me a like, give me a subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.